Good morning. My name is Ross Nova, and in this video, I talk about the Parents Act, right? With all the protests been going on and stuff, and kids walking out and protesting downtown, kids getting hit by cars, parents running towards schools, wondering where the kids are, stuff like that. I think there needs to be an act that protects or notifies parents more so what's going on in their schools. In my previous video that I did earlier this morning was the Perimeter Act, meaning it does not allow protesters within a quarter mile of any school zone, K through 12. Check out that video. Now, in my last video, I talked about a little bit about how passionate I am about kids, right? We have to protect our kids, okay? When kids go to school, oftentimes, at least for me anyway, it's the only safe place they can be, right? It's the only place that they can express themselves, they can be normal, they can meet their friends, they can, read their favorite book, play their favorite sport, and just, relax, right? It's the only place sometimes they can feel safe. That's how I felt when I was going to school. Like, my favorite day was Monday. I hated Fridays because I had to be home on weekends. So this kind of touches me a little bit, deep. So parents, I stand with you. You have to be notified whenever kids leave school grounds ahead of time, right? So here we go. I do apologize. My accent sometimes trips me when I say certain words. I'll try to slow down, enunciate, make sure I can get this whole thing said. So Parents Act is parental awareness, rights, ensuring no travel off school grounds. That's what the Parents Act stands for, P.A.R.E.N.T.S, parental awareness, rights, ensuring no travel off school grounds. The purpose of this act is to ensure students' safety, protect parental rights, and prevent students from leaving school grounds without proper notice, consent, and supervision. This act organizes that unscheduled or politically motivated walkouts place children at risk from traffic hazards, which we have seen videos of a student getting hit by a car, unknown threats. We don't know the background of people they walk by. They could be criminals, they could be sex offenders. We just don't know. And lack of accountability, staff members, teachers, principals. Definition: school grounds, any property owned, leased, or operated by public schools or school districts, such as playgrounds, football fields, baseball fields, stuff like that, right? Off campus, or whenever, let's say, whenever students travel to a public arena to play, that becomes public ground. So there can't be any protest. I like that one. There can't be any protest around that arena where high school students or lower grades are playing playing sports in. There cannot be protests, period. I have to make sure I add that. Off-campus activities, any activity that requires students to leave school grounds during the school day, including but not limited to protests, demonstrations, walkouts, marches, or assemblies, written parental consent, signed documents, or verified electronic authorization from parent or legal guardian. So parental notification and consent. No student shall be permitted to leave school grounds for any off-campus activities without written parental consent. That's very important. Parent or legal guardian must be notified no less than 7 days in advance of any planned off-campus activity. Exceptions School-sponsored athletic events, field trips, or extracurricular activities that are part of established schedule and announced months in advance may satisfy notice requirements through seasonal or annual consent form. When I was in sports, they will send a calendar of the tournament, right? And so the parents would be aware of where their kids are. Oftentimes they are anyway because they pack lunches, pack their uniforms, and so forth. Same-day walkouts, protests, or demonstrations shall not be permitted under any circumstances. Again, same-day walkouts, protests, or demonstrations shall not be permitted under any circumstances. Duty of school staff, right? Teachers and staff shall take reasonable and appropriate actions to keep students on school grounds during instructional hours. So if they're about to leave and stuff, inform security, inform the principal, and contact parents, If students attempt to leave school grounds, staff must immediately notify school administration and attempt to contact parents or guardian for student pickup, right? Teacher and staff must make reasonable efforts to return students to school building if students leave or attempt to leave. Roosevelt did a fabulous job. I was very proud of them. They, after the incident with ICE agents, I was not very happy. The Roosevelt High School students wanted to do a walkout, and they tried to walk out. The teachers, staff members, they locked the doors, or at least made a barrier of themselves and told students to go back to their classrooms. That this is not unacceptable, and I believe the students did. There's a short video. I was very, very happy. That's how it should be done, because we don't know who's out there, what kind of risks are out there. But in school, it's a very controlled environment. So good job to Roosevelt for doing the right thing. I applaud. And I hope you guys I hope you guys notify the parents of the incident as well. Okay, teachers and staff must make reasonable efforts to return students to the school building if students leave or attempt to leave. Okay, student discipline. A student who leaves school grounds without authorization shall be subject to disciplinary action, which may include detention, loss of privileges, or academic penalties, including reduction of a letter grade for failure to follow instructions. And I almost think maybe they can't play in the sporting event, skip one sporting event possibly, I don't know. Academic penalties shall be included reduction of letter grade to failure to follow instructions. Discipline shall be progressive and documented, right? Everything has to always be documented. Staff accountability. Any teacher, administrator, or staff member who knowingly encourages, permits, or facilitates. That's very important, because I've seen staff members with kindergarten kids look like they were practicing on how to protest, making those cute little no ice signs. I was very angry seeing those videos instead of actually learning, right? Permits or facilitates unauthorized off-campus activities shall be subject to disciplinary action, including unpaid suspension or no less than 30 days of work. Repeated violations may result termination. And at this point, I think that should be on the table as well, too. Either termination or 30 days unpaid leave. Safety training education. Schools shall provide annual training to staff regarding procedures under this act. Schools shall be educated students on rules and risks associated with leaving school grounds at frequencies comparable to fire drills or active shooting drills. So whenever they do any type of drill, they had to talk about protests as well, where they cannot leave the school grounds. In fact, I think if somehow there is protest just outside the school, that it should sort of go on a partial lockdown, not full, but partial lockdown where the doors are locked and students may continue going about their day-to-day learning and then call the law enforcement to notify them there is protesters outside their school, because in the previous video that I did this morning was the Perimeter Act, where protesters are not allowed within a quarter mile of any school. Each school district shall adopt policies consistent with this act and report violations to the State Department of Education. So I think this will make both parties, both Republicans and Democrats, happy, because they should care about the future generation and them being safe. There should be no reason why this should not pass immediately for both overwhelmingly, right? And I think these things, the P.A.R.E.N.T.S Act and the Perimeter Act, should go hand in hand and should get passed this month. And teachers and staff members should go over these two acts for the safety, right? So everybody knows what to do when things get heated, right? Or what to expect if certain things should happen. Ross Nova, shooting forward, brighter, bolder with P.A.R.E.N.T.S Act for a better tomorrow. Thank you.